All right, we are back with a late edition of the Blamegirl Podcast with
Mr. Terry Wayne.
And we got Mike Hudak in the house. What up,
How's it
Mike?
going? Hey, what's up, GL? How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you.
How was your weekend, Mike?
Oh, hectic, man. I just got into a new house over here in Austin. Yeah, thank you. So we've been kind of busting ass all weekend, just getting everything moved in, set up, and moving furniture and stuff like that. So, and even though I paid movers to do it, it still ended up doing half of the shit myself. So,
oh no,
yeah, adulting, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's some rich people stuff right there. Move.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I mean, it wasn't not even really rich people stuff. It's just like I'm more lazy, so didn't want to do it all on my own.
Yeah.
Well, where I come from, that's when you get one of the Mexicans down by the U-Haul to help you out. That's
Yeah. There you go.
There's a lot of Mexicans in Texas.
There are.
Yeah, you go down to the Home Depot or the U-Haul joint. They're there.
Way to come out strong with the racism there.
Right off the bat. There we go.
I'm just saying
he's from Tennessee. Excuse him. Like, this guy's a little. But anyway,
I'm just saying they're there. That's all.
Harry, how was your weekend?
It was great. I went around looking for Mexicans.
Yeah.
No, it was fine.
Home Depot.
Just relaxing, couple, doing errands, things like that. Today's my dad's birthday, so
nice.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy
That's
birthday.
actually where I'm leaving. I'm leaving dinner. I'm now.
Yeah.
So
I celebrated my 40th birthday yesterday, so that was yeah. And I was working all weekend.
I did. I saw that on Facebook because now we're friends on there, and I saw it was your birthday.
Oh, I guess I moved on too fast from your weekend, huh, Mike? Did you do anything fun for your birthday then?
Yeah, moved furniture.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
That was it.
That sounds like a celebration.
Yeah, exactly.
Did Terry? I think you had a show this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a show at the Red Light last night. The famous Red Light Lounge connected to Monroe's Strip Club, which is always an awesome time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Where's that at?
They're closing the curtain now during the show because it's like maybe I want to see some titties while I'm telling jokes.
No more. It's in West Palm Beach.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So, did you go to the strip club last night?
I did not. I had an early appointment today, so just kind of had to get out. I think you did, because I turned around and you were gone and nobody knew where you were, and I was like, I bet she's over there in the strip club.
Why would I be? Okay.
Hanging out or working?
So, well, if I had a job over there, I definitely would have showed up for my shift because I need some movers soon.
Yeah, there you go. If I could work at a strip club, I would. The only job I ever got at a strip club was at one of those really low end strip clubs. And I was like, okay, I think I'm a little too hairy chested to be a dancer.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to.
I have the upper equipment, but just not the
Oh Lord.
not the appeal.
Nobody wants to pay for dick. The market's flooded. You can get it free anywhere. Nobody's ever going to pay for that.
All right. Well, so I had a good weekend. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
No, but seriously, I don't even remember what I did all weekend. I did stuff. Friday, I just had happy hour, just like a regular adult after work. And Saturday, I had a show in Lake Worth at Bamboo Room adjacent called The Divine. And Sunday, I went and saw Terry. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Nice. Enjoyed my weekend. It's Monday. I'm ready to do some blaming. What about you guys?
Sounds good to me. I like to blame everything on everybody else anyway, so.
I always just blame Captain.
I don't like to accept responsibility.
I just blame everything either on Obama or Trump, one or the other.
Insert random politician here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Easy show tonight, then.
Yeah.
All right. So and this is interesting because you're in Texas. We'll get to
Mhm.
that a little bit later, Mike.
Yeah.
In Texas, the Republicans, they are trying to exclude other Republicans, namely libertarians, from the primary ballots. Who's to blame?
I'd have to say blame the libertarians. You know why? Victim blame. Okay, so the reason I say that, okay, so like let's be honest. Like if you're a Republican, you're either conservative or you're more like libertarian, right? There's no really like shades of gray in there. You're either one side or the other. And honestly, the ones that are libertarians, I mean, do you really want them around? They're like the ones that can't make a decision, you know? It's like going out to eat with a wife. It's like, where do you want to go? She's like, I don't know. What do you feel like? It's like, I'm blaming her. That's a libertarian answer. I don't know. What do you feel like?
Yeah.
You know? Come on, man. Just make a decision. Either be one side or the other.
So you're saying libertarians are blamed because they're not just like a Republican.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the opposite stance here, and I'm victim blame. You know, let's blame the libertarians.
And we always will take
why not?
Blame on Blamegirl Podcast. Terry, what do you think here?
Well, I think he forgot the Trump conservatives, which is their own little, and it's not even a little portion of conservatives now. It's a majority.
Are you saying Trump conservatives are libertarians?
Me?
Is that how you would classify them, or
no? A true libertarian, doesn't really subscribe to either political party, because either political party still wants politicians, and true libertarians don't want rulers at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the real schism here is when it comes to, if you really look at the libertarian versus Republican politics, true libertarians, they do not align socially with what Republicans want. They do economically, but they don't when it comes to social issues. Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting that you threw like the Trump conservative in there, because I don't know that I wouldn't put them in libertarians. You know, they like that chaos. They like that anarchy. What did we just have? So,
I mean, I don't really necessarily think they like the chaos and the anarchy. It's more just like about like libertarian, like you said, you know, it's financially or fiscally conservative, but socially liberal. And Trump was always kind of like that because he was left leaning for years, but he was also left leaning because he was doing business in New York, and New York is a notoriously left leaning city. And if you're going to do business, you've got to be able to, you know, make everybody that you're working with like happy, you know. And that's why I think who he was the past few years is actually who he really is. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't give a fuck. So I wouldn't even put him in the libertarian. I mean, he is a little socially liberal, yes, but I mean, still some of the stuff that he chose to run on is very conservative. So
well, don't tell that to those Central Park kids back from the 80s. That he's socially liberal, because he has very much never been. No, but I mean, I wouldn't even put the Trump conservatives in a political party. They're more, I mean, honestly, it looks more like a cult than anything else. You know, they have an infallible leader. You know, I think the truest thing that he ever said was, he said that he could, during one of his rallies, he said, I could shoot someone on video in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not lose a single supporter. He's right. He could do that. I mean, probably there's a few supporters, but for the majority,
I think he's more of a libertarian type, and I do think that libertarians looked up to him, and maybe that's really who's to blame here. Maybe it's Trump for causing an even greater, you know, divide between your run-of-the-mill Republican and your libertarian. So
libertarians have been around longer than Trump. You know, the Tea Party was well before Trump ever got involved.
Yeah, I know about the Koch brothers and all that, but you know. But you know what's older than the Koch brothers?
The Pepsi brothers?
No, the Emmitt Till case. How'd you like that transition? All right.
There you go.
I hated it, just like all your
Segue.
transitions. Yeah.
But you know what? Emmitt Till, if you don't know who that is, he was the black boy that was down in Mississippi from Chicago, allegedly whistled at a white woman, and then they killed him and they made his body unrecognizable.
Yeah, they didn't just kill him.
It became famous because his mom wanted an open casket at his funeral so the world could see what they did. And it, during the 50s and 60s when this was going on, it was, a big deal. But there was no justice then. And recently they found a subpoena for the woman that he allegedly whistled at, who was allegedly part of the conspiracy, and tried to they took her to court and tried to arraign her, and they no-billed her. So all that to say, who's to blame? Why can't we get justice for Emmitt Till in 2022, y'all?
Well, I'm going to say you're to blame, first of all, for saying allegedly so much. He allegedly whistled at her. As if he did whistle at her, it made it okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if he whistled. No, you're allowed to whistle in public places.
Yeah.
Well, Mississippi was not a very nice place to be in the 50s.
You don't say.
Mississippi is not a very nice place to be in 2022 either. So
Mississippi, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and blame Mississippi.
Racism, yes. In which case, they do it better than anyone. I was neighbors with Mississippi for a number of years.
Oof. I had to drive through Mississippi. That's about. Nobody wants to. My point is, nobody's dying to hang out in Biloxi. You know what I mean? Like nobody.
Yeah, they also say like there's insufficient evidence and things like that. But what do you think about it just being an old crime and old people? Like, do you think that they were just reluctant to really prosecute her because of her age?
Good question. I don't really know too much about it other than what you just told me. So I would say, I mean, they've gone back and tried to solve cases from years and years and years ago, and then they finally get it like 30, 40 years ago. That's happened quite a few times. But maybe it's just because it's Mississippi.
And I think also maybe she didn't necessarily wasn't the one who killed him.
Right?
A mob of people.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, but that shit happened all the time back then with white women back then. Blaming a black guy basically meant that you could just accuse anybody of doing anything and get away with it.
Right.
Like. It was I hate to say it, but it was like the Me Too movement of the 50s and the 40s was just say you don't need evidence. Just say some shit and everyone's going to believe you.
Yeah.
Just say, cheat on your husband. If you get caught, just say a black guy raped you and they'll hang him and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Which has happened multiple times too.
Well, I don't know. I'm sad that they couldn't, make anything come of the warrant. But anyway,
I think they should have to name, I think in that city, they should have to name any country western bar after him. Like that should let the punishment fit the crime.
You think they should
have not a bad idea.
What after Emmitt Till, you mean?
Yeah. After Emmitt Till, they should have to call any country western bar Emmitt Till's place.
Emmitt Till Bar and Grill.
Yep.
Okay. I got it.
No more renegades, no more roundups, just Emmitt Till's place. And then you got to look at it every time you go in there. That's what I think.
I think we should prosecute Terry for that awful joke. That was bad.
Who's joking?
Don't do that. But anyway, her warrant didn't work out, but there was a warrant that did work out this week for everybody. This week, a warrant was executed to search Maralago for classified documents. Who's to blame?
It feels like that was 100 years ago already. Like, I can't believe that was a week ago. It feels like it's been 100 years since that happened.
That's what it's dominating the news cycle. So you're hearing about it all day, every day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's
they got nothing else to talk about.
Trump has so many scandals over the last 6 years that it's like it's just white noise at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because I saw something from earlier this year. It was the Daily Show put it out, and it went like the biggest scandal of Joe Biden's presidency, and it was about him going to get ice cream in January, and they just kept running with it. They're like, everything's a mess and Biden's eating ice cream. It's like, do you remember what we just came from? It was a scandal a week with Trump. It was, and then people wonder why we're still talking about it.
That's eating ice cream. But seriously, what, like, who's to blame for these documents? Like, them giving him warrant? Like, why did he take documents? Mike, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, I do. It's probably an unpopular opinion, but I'll say it anyway. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you right now, I think a lot of this is all political theater. It's all political hit jobs. And it's just because you got to think of it this way. What is it this year? This is a midterm election year. Okay. They're getting their asses stomped with inflation. They're getting their asses stomped with gas prices. They're getting their asses stomped with the Fed, like just the reserve. And everything. So they need to do something to be like, hey, look at this shit. Look at this. If you buy anything in politics that you see on fucking Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, that's all bullshit. It's all political theater. And the more that you buy into that stuff, I feel like it's like, oh, blind leading the blind, you're like, you're literally going to buy into that. And it's just like, you become a follower, whether it's you're anti-Trump or whether you're pro-Trump, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You become a follower, instead of actually not thinking for yourself.
A lot of people.
Well, how can that be?
A lot of people have that view now where they're just like so tired. They're like, just let me know if something happens.
Well, here's my thing: is how can that be? How can Mike's point be right that it's political theater when the FBI director that signed off on the search and seizure was appointed by Trump?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's still political theater, though, because dude, you know how easy it is to like corrupt somebody in DC? It's super fucking easy to get corrupted.
That's not deep state.
No, DC.
Oh, okay. As you said deep state, I was like, oh no, one of these.
Okay. Look, let me tell you, they're turning the frogs gay.
Yeah. No.
You're in Austin, so
yeah, it is. I was gonna say he's right down the street. So.
But that's not to say that there's not political theater. Absolutely.
Oh, there always is. Both sides. Theater.
But there's not to say that this nigga guilty of something.
Well, he did something wrong. You know what the problem is? I don't think anybody in the Republican Party, anybody in the Democratic Party, I don't think anybody wants this man to run again. And they've got to get a good felony on him against the state.
Shouldn't be.
They got to get a good felony on him against the state. That way, that'll preclude him from ever running for office again. And I think that's what everybody wants. And when I say everybody, I mean Trump too. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the first months of Trump's presidency? Yes. He was miserable. He was miserable. He even said in an interview one time, he's like, I thought this would be easier than my old life. I miss my old life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah, of course you do. Because all you had to do was be the boss and just tell people they were fired and then judge the chocolate cake. And now you have to run the free world. Of course it's harder, you idiot. Mm-hmm.
That's why every president you see, I mean, look at Bush when he first got into office as compared to when he left in 2008. It looked like he had aged 20 years.
It looks like Trump.
Yeah.
Trump looks like he's aged 20 years after 4, but the problem is he wears the makeup so you can't see it. Did you see that photo with him without the makeup on at that golf tournament? Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. He looks like the Crypt Keeper. It's crazy.
This is why we don't elect people that are like almost 80 years old.
Thank you. I have still maintained there's an age requirement to be president, and there should be an age limit. If you make it 35 to be president, 65 you're done. 35 to 65 gives you a 30-year window to become president. If you can't do it within then, what can I tell you?
Enjoy your retirement.
Okay, no more 75-year-olds, right?
No.
I really like Bernie though.
I don't care. Being president at Bernie's age, him being president is like farting in an elevator right before you get off. You don't have to deal with the ramifications, so you can do whatever you want. Like he's not going to be around to deal with this,
to deal with his policies. And this,
Right, exactly.
You want the president to have to see what happens from what they
One of the main reasons I liked Obama so much was because he was younger. Because he was younger, and it was like, oh, you're not going to get to run after this. I think he was like, if you fuck up, you're going to live with this for the rest of your life, and it's not going to be a minute.
Yeah. I think he was the youngest ever elected. I don't know. I don't go back that far, like back in the 1800s or anything.
Was he younger than Kennedy? I don't know.
Then maybe
he was pretty young.
Yeah, Kennedy was young.
Yeah. Even Clinton. Good question. Clinton was relatively young when he ran.
Yeah.
He had to see the repercussions from his presidency.
Yeah, he sure did.
A lot of them have Bush. You know what President Trump sees from the repercussions of his presidency? A nail gunman attacking the FBI office this week.
That was awesome.
Who's to blame? Why is
it I put that article in there
was
to
it
talk
the
about this.
warrant, or why do you think it happened?
Because it's not that Trump's a politician. He's a huckster, like he's a P.T. Barnum, like he's a showman, and he's given a show to all these idiots, and he doesn't realize like they believe this like a religion, like for real. So if he says that his house is under siege because the FBI came and took those boxes, and he says, oh, the government's coming after me, his people are going to react to that in a real physical way.
Office with a nail gun.
Yeah.
Why would he take a nail gun?
Because he couldn't get a real gun.
He had an AR-15 with him too.
Because he probably couldn't get a real gun.
Why start shooting the nail gun? Just do the AR-15.
Hey guys, maybe he was showing up to actually do some construction work
with an AR-15 at an FBI office.
He didn't. He had a nail gun. A nail gun.
I don't think so.
Yep.
No.
Assault by Bostitch.
Do you know what the #1 Google trending search was hours after Trump Mar-a-Lago got raided? It was Civil War.
Oh my!
Yeah, they've been talking about. They've been talking about
to those idiots. To those idiots that think that either the people that think they're actually going to overthrow the government, or to the people that are worried that there might actually be a civil war, both groups can calm the fuck down. Because the reason why the Civil War happened was because the states were aligned on either side. So if you lived in the South, you were on the Confederacy, whether you liked it or not. If you were on the North, you were on, you were in the Union, whether you liked it or not. Now, America is not that anymore. Parts of California are still Republican. Parts of Florida are still Democratic.
Believe it or not, most of California. Other than like LA and San Francisco. If you drive anywhere else in Sacramento, those three cities,
a lot of places are still Republican. And let's talk about Austin, where Mike's at, as opposed to the rest of Texas. So like, it's very much a purple country when you go state by state. There are some strictly red states with no pockets of Democrats, but you can't have a civil war, first of all. Second of all, you can keep your AR-15s. You can take your guns out there and try to make a civil war. But the government has drones. So that's the end of the conversation. Because one drone beats 10,000 yokels with their rifles.
Yeah.
They don't even have to come low enough to the ground for you to be able to shoot them. They fly so high you can't even see them. And then they use guidance tracking bombs where they just drop them. Like, you're done. You're done here.
But I mean, you know what?
We just took out the leader of the Taliban with one.
Live for that. Look at January 6th. I mean, they will get their guns and they'll go against the government.
Good. Let them. That's just Mother Nature cleaning out the garbage. That's just natural selection. If you're going to go up against the greatest military might that humankind has ever seen in the history of humanity, and you want to go up with them with what you got in your closet or what you got in your garage or your shed, go ahead, go for it. We don't need your genes in this pool anymore.
All right.
Sorry, you're too stupid to live.
Social Darwinism.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's not even social Darwin. It's just Darwinism at that point. That'd be like it'd be like me going up to Mike Tyson saying, "Hey, you want to throw?" Like, no, I'm gonna die. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You mean like the guy on that flight?
Yeah, on the guy on the airplane. I think they should have thrown him out of the plane.
Tyson's sitting there just clocking him. That was awesome. That was so good.
If I was the captain of that plane, I'd be like, jettison him. We're gonna drop to 15,000 feet. Just toss him out.
Throw him out the side.
They're like suicide bombers. They're like, they're like going out and then they ended up dead. They keep ending up dead over this dude. Well,
they glorify. Look, I come from that society. You know what I mean? Like I come from that culture. And they tend to glorify dying for some noble, honorable reason. That's why they glorify
in the textbooks dying for this president.
Well, it's like the John Locke thing. Give me liberty or give me death. Like that's why they glorify the troops so much, because it's like, I'm gonna go and fight and die for my country. No, I think you just want to die. I don't think you really give a reason why.
They probably want to fight too.
No, I think they just want to. I think they hate their lives. And they just want to go, but they want to do it for a good reason. I think that's also why heroin's so big in that community. It's because it's just escapism, man.
Mm-hmm. Heroin and Oxycontins.
Well, that's what I mean is the opiate epidemic hits these rural whites more than anybody else.
My mom used to call it hillbilly heroin. And I was like, that's pretty funny.
The Oxy?
Yeah, Oxycontins. Yeah.
Well, yeah, any synthetic opioid, the fentanyl is the newest craze.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not doing that on purpose, are they? They're like putting that in stuff.
Oh yeah, there was those comics out in California that died because they were doing lines of coke that was laced with fentanyl.
Yeah. But no one's just doing fentanyl on purpose, right?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It seems like they're always getting duped into doing the fentanyl. You know?
Well, it's like, I mean, there are people that are specifically looking for fentanyl, but like in Southern California, I read that now most people that buy cocaine are testing their cocaine for fentanyl before they'll use it. Yeah. And the thing is, if they find fentanyl in it, they'll flush it down the toilet. And this has happened so much that the raccoons have gotten into that, to where now the raccoons are tweaking on fentanyl from the wastewater supply, and animal control was having a real problem with it. Who was it that told that story? Whitney Cummings told that story on. What's
the fentanyl then? If you can't even flush it, just put it in the trash.
I don't know. That fentanyl shit, man. That's a real dragon. Like that's.
All right, let's take things back to funny. How about that? And we will walk.
Were they ever funny?
Maybe a little bit at the. We had some jokes at the beginning.
Everything in life is funny if you make it.
Sure.
We've got funny comedian Mike Hudak.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you got it right.
Hudak.
Yeah. Or Hudak. Yeah, but yeah.
How do you tell people to pronounce your last name when they ask?
I let them pronounce it first, and then I'll laugh or correct them. Then they'll be like, "Is that right?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure."
Everybody says it.
Yeah, that's fine.
It sounds like Hudak.
Yeah, well, that's what I used to get in high school. It's like Hudak. It's like, no, I hate the Saints. No thanks.
Yeah, I'm like, I think you spoke about you're not from Texas, but I don't think you grew up in the South at all. But anyway, so thank you for doing our podcast.
Yeah,
we love having comedians. We get a lot of South Florida, former South Florida comedians, but so it's nice to have an Austin comic on.
Yeah, well, I was actually in Florida. I used to live in Florida for 12 years. So I didn't start comedy there though. That's the only thing. I have done comedy in South Florida.
That's what I want to start with. Like, how did you started doing comedy? How long have you been doing it? And how
it's almost a little over 4 years. 4 years and like 2 months ish. I started at Cap City Comedy Club here in Austin.
Nice.
Just an open mic. I was like, I gotta try this out because I had nothing to do for 2 years because I was in the wrestling business for almost 17 years.
Wow.
And then I quit and I was like, I need to fucking do something with myself. I don't know.
Wait, Wrestling or
Yeah.
wrestling?
Gloss over that.
Wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. Was it wrestling or wrestling?
I used to fake fight for a living. Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's so cool. You used to be a wrestler.
Yeah,
You know what? We used to do a podcast on. We did the podcast on the Gonzo radio.
Yeah, I know Big Daddy Gonzo.
You know Gonzo.
I know Gonzo. I've known Gonzo for years.
We used to stream on Gonzo's. I got to make sure he sees this episode then.
Yeah, man, Big Daddy Gonzo.
So, so you've been doing it 4 years. You got out of wrestling, and what made you want?
Well, I've always been a fan of comedy, just like most people that get into it. And so I was like, all right, just do this, get up on stage and go. The stage has never scared me because, like I said, from the wrestling business. So it wasn't like a thing like, oh, I'm nervous to do it. It's just like, I don't know how to do it. Now I got to figure out how to do it. And then.
Yeah, that's true. I think people that have already had that little entertainment background tend to have Terry used to sing, and, a lot of comedians used to be artists, but what really helped me was I was a teacher, and that's kind of like public speaking, and the kids are mean, so I'm already a little bit scared when I'm doing that. So when I did that anyway, but comedy was the easy transition, I think, because of the teaching. But I see what you're saying about the entertainment. What is your favorite venue to perform at in Austin?
In Austin? Well, they're closed now, but it used to be the Roma Room. It was like my home base club. Yeah, the Roma Room. And that was awesome, man. I've worked with so many, so much good talent there. That was when I opened, with Brett Ernst was there. Whenever he was in town, I'd open up for him. At the Roma Room, and then Sam Tripoli, Adam Ray, all those guys. So I got to work with a lot of really good talent there, and those rooms are always packed, always good energy. But then, the Brass Tap was basically, it owned the space, and then they ended up selling off the space. So
they didn't want to make a new space for the Roma Room. They just let it go.
No, they just let it go. Yeah, it was too much to try to find a new space and everything like that. So, but there's a lot of really good spots. Like the Creek in the Cave is an awesome little club. Vulcan Gas Company is awesome. That's where Kill Tony is every week.
Now, the Creek in the Cave, I got a question about that one. Because there's a Creek in the Cave in New York too.
Same one, but they closed in New York and they moved here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Rebecca moved it down here.
That's what I was going to ask. Was it associated with Rebecca in the Creek in the Cave in New York? Okay.
Yep. Rebecca lives here in Austin. So her and Colton Dowling, who's a local comic here, they're the ones that opened it up. So.
Now, you asked if I meant just Texas, and I did. But do you have any other, what's your favorite club? Because it sounds like you traveled.
Yeah. Honestly, my other favorite spot to go is over in New Smyrna, Madcaps. That room is Adam over at Madcap. Dude, that room is awesome. I had so much fun working there the last February. It was a blast. And now I heard he opened up a new one, a second one, Treasure Coast or something, I think. So but Madcaps is awesome.
Are you excited? Are you excited for Joe Rogan's new comedy club to open up there in Austin?
I'm interested to see what's going to happen. That's really going to shake a lot of things up because right now he basically bounces back and forth. Most of the time he's at Vulcan. He'll go to Vulcan to do 2 nights, and they just let him walk in. They sell out in of course 5 minutes. Yeah. And he's basically got full reign over that. And then now he's opening up his club, which I supposedly I heard it's not going to be opening up until after the new year, but that's going to throw a huge wrench because it's literally 4 doors down from Vulcan.
Yeah, but Chappelle is also in on that too.
I heard something about that. I don't know for sure, but I do know that Rogan. I know the spot that he got. It was the Ritz Alamo Draft House, the Ritz Theater, and he's going to have 2 rooms in there. It's basically it's going to be Comedy Store East. That's how they're going to have that.
That's the way I figured it would be because he was such a big fan of the store the whole time. That he was out in LA, that he try and recreate that where he is now.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool.
So you said the Alamo Draft House is where Rogan's gonna be doing it?
Yeah, the one downtown on 6th.
What?
Yeah, the Ritz Theater. Yeah, Comedy Mothership is what he's calling the club, I think.
And supposedly Chappelle partnered with him to do this. So between those two, you know, not just them being there, you know, because you can't watch them every night, but between those two, with the comedy clout that they have on a national scale, like you're gonna have every top tier comic coming through there all the time.
Make Austin insane, like wow. And because it, like I was telling you, Mike, like I saw it from like when the Romo room was in the little dentist office, to like, the way it is now. Wow, a complete, like it was hard to find a Mike that time, and I was like, whoa, this is Austin. Artist town, but it wasn't like that. I found a Mike at a dentist office. That's where I found one. But now you can find one every night, multiple Mike. Crazy.
True story.
What has been your favorite moment as a comedian so far?
I don't know that I have one, to be honest. No, probably just like working with some of the guys that I got to work with, you know. Working with Brett was one of my favorite things to do.
Brett?
Yeah, Brett Ernst. Yeah. Sam Tripoli was a blast to work with. I mean, just working in front of those crowds, and then just like some of the times where like there was one time I worked down in Key West at Comedy Key West down there at Tom Dustin and Joe Madow's club, and those crowds were awesome. That was a lot of fun down there.
I haven't gotten to do that room yet, but I've heard a lot. Gold Comedy goes down there a lot.
Okay.
There's an open mic on Tuesday. An open mic, so I'm gonna have to try to like make a point to go. I've heard so many great things about Comedy Key West.
Yeah, it's a really fun room, and plus it's like cool because you're in Key West, so it's like you go, you do your time on stage, and then you can go hang out and have fun. You know,
with all the gay boys downtown. All right, so what I want to talk about. You run a room. Do you produce shows?
No. Well, okay. So I basically just kind of took over running one room up in Northwest Austin, and that's because my buddy Danny, it was his room. Danny Gonzalez, also from Florida. A lot of Florida people here. But yeah, he was running a great little room called Slackers Brewing Company. We actually have a show this coming Thursday night, and when he was living here in Austin, he ran that room once a month. He had to move back to Dallas. He had like some family issues and stuff like that. So he had to leave Austin, move back to Dallas. So he basically is like, here, take over the room until I end up moving back. I'm like, that's fine. Sounds good. So now I run that one. I used to run bi-weekly shows at the Roma Room when they were open. I used to have a late night Saturday show. It was a late night, dirty, like, you know, aggressive type of comedy show. And that was fun. We used to sell those out like a lot, you know, 95 people packed into a room, like standing room only.
That's like, I hate that I never got to do a show at the Roma Room.
At the Roma Room? Yeah.
No, I never got to do a show. I did the mics. I reached out to Rob, but never got to get on a show. So, and now I know. It was very depressing when that place closed down, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, other than that, so what has been your biggest challenge doing comedy?
Getting funny.
Okay, that's an honest answer.
I mean, it's the writing process. I'm not a very good, like, I don't have the brain built to be like a creative writer. I feel like I have a lot of roadblocks with that, you know, like I look at things more of like a formula than I do of just like opening up and just talking, you know,
like a permanent punchline pause or.
Right, exactly.
So wait, you don't have the brain of a creative writer. I'm sorry to tell you, Mike, but I think maybe you picked the wrong path.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Like that's
it's kind of the whole job.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm trying to train myself. It's like that right brain versus left brain type deal. It's like if you're right brain, you're more creative. If you're left brain, you're more engineering brain. It's more formulas and everything like that. Right brain is,
Yo, I gotta say, like, I needed both. Like, I took classes to start, and I did a class with the improv, and that just brought ideas out. But I took a class where the teacher was like, premise, punchline, pause, very strict about it.
Right.
And that helped me write tightly.
Yes.
So it got me to get the creative ideas, the tight format, and it worked in conjunction with what I'd learned before. But the only problem is when I deliver like that, people are like, no,
Right.
That was my only thing about the formula, but I'm so like that formula oriented, and that helped me understand how to write better.
Right.
I'm a technical writer, really.
Yeah. I think that's more along what I do as well. But I mean, other than that, like the biggest challenge is just, like just trying to put together, being able to get over the fact that's like you don't have to there's more than one way to be funny. There's more than just like you were saying. It's not just the premise, set up, punch, maybe a tag, and then premise, set up, punch. There's ways to be funny other than just follow that strict formula. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And that's what I struggle with.
And then there's like something to be said about like, I'll hear comics be like, they were doing it last night. They were saying that somebody wasn't funny on the show, and I was like, well, there's a market for that type of comedy. Not you, Terry. But there's a market.
I know what I am.
Okay, there's a market for everyone. Like if you can like make a good joke, there's a group of people that are gonna like your material. If it's clean,
see, and that's why I don't
if it's
believe
misogynistic, if it's political, whatever it is.
We've gotten into this several times, Gio and I. That's why I don't believe in the classes. And I'm not the only one. You grab any comedian of note and say, hey, what do you think of comedy classes? And they all say the same thing. They're like, if you're taking one, it's a bad sign, because like you said, Mike, there's a lot of different ways to laughter. There's a lot of different paths. I know a comic's been working on the road 3 years now, only does crowd work, no material whatsoever. That's all he does. Another person, Jordan Garnett, we just roasted down here, only does crowd work. No, like he's got like 5-7 minutes of actual material. And now he's going to be the house favorite at a club up in Michigan.
Nice.
So I mean, there's lots of different ways to go about it. Some are more energetic. I mean, take two sides of the spectrum.
Look at like some people get into it, Terry. That's just I wouldn't start comedy without a class.
I understand that. You don't have to be defensive, okay? I'm just saying you can't teach somebody how to be funny for other people because they don't even know. The classes, if anything, should be teaching you how to navigate the industry, what to do off stage. 90% of the work is off stage anyway. How to market yourself, how to do shit like that. Not like how to be funny. You either have that or you don't. And there's no class in the world that's going to change it.
Look, that's a level, I think the class, especially Ramon Garcia's class, it gives people an opportunity to get into the world. And he does do that. Teaches you how to go navigate the open mics, and then you're on your own, but there should be another level class that teaches you all that stuff that you just said, like, especially in today's world with social media and the way you need fucking reels to do anything,
Yeah, that would be great if they taught you like how to network and stuff like that. Or one of my favorite things, if they would teach them, it's like, all right, remove the mic from the mic stand, take the mic stand and move it back. Instead of just, all right, I'm here, and then the mic like right in front. As soon as I see that, I'm just like,
Ramon does teach you that. See, I learned that too, So Mike,
the comic whisperer.
Yeah, Mike, we want to talk about you. Like,
but he calls himself.
Like, tell us where you're from, how you got to Texas. Tell us about Florida.
Yep. I grew up in New England, from Boston originally, and then moved to Fort Lauderdale back in 2007. And I was in the wrestling business at the time. Florida was pretty big, like a hotbed for the business.
Wrestling.
And yeah, because they have the training center, the WWE Trainer Center is in Orlando, but it used to be in Tampa. So a lot of people, they would, like a lot of the guys in the business, they'd just move down there and then continue to work around like a lot of the independent circuit down there. When I was living in Fort Lauderdale and in Tampa, whenever for 4.5 years I was working for WWE as extra talent. So every time they would come through, they go to like Orlando, and then they Tampa, and then Miami. They do Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-view or something like that. And they'd come through like 2 to 3 times a year. So every time they come through, I'd get a call, show up. Basically, it's just like an extra on a TV set.
So did you ever wrestle in high school or anything like that?
No, I played football. Yeah, I played football. Yeah. So
yeah, you don't have to wrestle to be able to wrestle.
Right.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
I see why you called it wrestle. I see.
Yeah. Fake fight. But
I'm doing the South Park thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, then I moved from Fort Lauderdale to Tampa, and then to Austin in 2018. So
yeah, my brother-in-law is a huge WWE fan. He loves wrestling. My nephews both really love wrestling. They got the video games and the action figures and all that stuff. But even he had to admit after a while, it's just the soap opera for men. That's all it is.
Oh yeah.
It is. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it didn't used to.
About
people
that.
used to believe it was real, and it was this whole thing. Like when I was a kid, everybody thought it was real. And then
we thought it was
about
real.
the time I got to be around driving age, everybody's like, "Oh, this is fake as shit."
My mom loved WWE wrestling. She loved it, or WWF.
Yeah, it was WWF when we were.
Yeah, when I was a kid.
And then they got sued by the Wildlife
And then they got
Fund.
sued by the World Wildlife Foundation, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And they had to change it because of the pandas and shit.
Yep. And you can still
fight of their life, huh?
The WWF logo, like you said, it's black and white, has the panda on it. Yeah. They actually, you can find like T-shirts and shit like that. It says WWF, and it's a panda hitting another panda with a chair. That's fucking hilarious. It's like one of my favorite things I've ever seen. I'm like, that's
a good shirt. That's a good
beautiful.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have any other projects? Do you do any podcasts? You said you're not running any shows right now, right?
I just got that one show, and then obviously I host that awesome open mic at Henderson Mill every Tuesday night. That's always a shit show. But
I like Anderson Mill, Mike.
It's okay. So I call it Austin's toughest room, and the reason I call it that is because people show up, to do, like, you show up, you do your set, but it's all old, like it's a locals bar. It's regulars in there, and they get really rowdy sometimes because that place is just a hot mess, Yeah. And comics will sit there and they'll go up and they'll like, oh, I got to work on my material. It's like, that's good. But then as soon as they start getting like a little bit of heckle, or if like nobody's paying attention to them because it's loud, people are like, I just want to watch fucking Sports Center and drink my beer, So then they get, So then they walk out. You feel like you have to take a shower after you leave that place. It's just like, ugh.
No, it's not. Look, I'll say this. It's not that bad. Because me and Terry both have been house favorites at this place called Swampgrass Willie's, and it's like that, but with pool tables and just a lot of cocaine. It's crazy.
It's gladiator camp is what it is. It's if you want to learn how to corral an audience, that's what I mean. Bagging up cats. That is.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like that room. It's Austin Stuff's room, but it's like also one of those rooms that will teach you. It will harden you. It will teach you how to own the stage.
Fucking important rooms is all I gotta say.
Yeah. So,
I like that. What I really liked when I went this last time, I ran into so many, like, I saw JT there, right?
Seabass.
And Seabass. I was like, I'm always running into Florida comics here because I was there the year before, and I ran into I can't remember his name, but he was a little short guy from Miami selling purses. I can't remember his name, but it was but I knew who he was because I knew his face, and he had this really cute little like curly cute mustache. Anyway, so I just think it's crazy how I'm like all the way in Texas, and that place is like by my parents' house out pretty far west Austin.
Yep.
And I'm running into Florida comics. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. And it's nice too, because right down the street, Maggie has her mic, the challenge mic, where you pull the topics from the bucket. It is. It gets you thinking on stage. So you can double up on Tuesdays. It's great. And it's a mile down the road. So you can knock those two out right there.
That one challenged you because you got to pick a topic out of the bucket and then go off.
Come up with something.
Freestyle.
Exactly.
All right.
But yeah, that's the only real project I have going on. We're going to be launching, me and my buddy Craig Fergola. He's an awesome comic. We're going to be relaunching once I'm moved into the house. Me and the wife were moved into the new house, and we're going to turn this whole place into a nicer podcast studio. And because the one I had at my old house, it was a little too small. We didn't do video. We just did audio, but we're starting up the podcast again, probably another 3 months, 2-3 months once I get this studio built. So we already had, 70 episodes, I think, that we did. It was an audio only podcast.
What's it called?
It's called GFY Social Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still available to go check it out.
It's on Spotify. Yeah. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Check out Mike's podcast, GFY.
Yeah. GFY Social Club.
Social Club.
Yeah. People always like, what does GFY stand for? I was like, think about it. It could be anything, really. It's subjective. It could be go fuck yourself. It could be good for you. Could be get fucking yoked, like it could be all.
Yeah, but which one is it?
I went aggressive. I'm like, oh,
which one is it?
And you listen to the show and then you figure it out at the end. You'd be like,
yeah. So it's go fuck yourself. Got it.
All right. So that's pretty much what he just told you, Terry. So, are you ready to play the blame game?
Yeah, let's do it. Hell yeah.
All right. When I watched you do comedy, I noticed that, and it's funny because you're like, oh, you're supposed to take the mic and put the mic stand back, but you hold the whole mic stand.
Yeah,
Who's
I carry
to
the
blame,
mic.
Mike?
Yeah, I blame my anxiety. that's my horrible anxiety. Yeah, well, I don't know. Everybody's got their one little tick here and there that they do, and that's just I don't even know where it started. It just started there was one day, I think it might have been up in Dallas, Fort Worth at Hyenas Comedy Club. I think that was the first time, and I was just I was carrying around the mic stand, and it just felt normal to me, as opposed to mic back, because I used to do that all the time too. But I don't know. It's just it feels more comfortable to me to just carry.
Well, you're not alone in that. I used to do that myself.
Do you?
Because one of the guys I learned from, Will Watkins, that used to be down here, he used to do that every time on stage.
Did he? Yeah.
Just grab the whole mic stand and take it with him wherever. Yeah. So I mean, you're not alone with that. I've seen plenty of people do that. It's not that.
It's not groundbreaking. Yeah, it's not revolutionary.
It's to me carrying a whole mic stand around. I could never.
Yeah. Well, put it this way: my forearms get a workout. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So do you have you want to give people your social media and any of the shows that you have?
Yeah, I got this coming Thursday night, Slackers Brewing Company over on 620 in Northwest Austin. That's the Thirsty Thursday comedy show that I host for the one I took over that I was talking about. Yeah.
That was the name of my first show that I put together. It was Thirsty Thursday. Yeah, see, we're not breaking any new ground, neither you nor I.
You only need to be 10% different to be considered original. That's what somebody told me.
Every city has a Thirsty Thursday.
Everybody's got a Thirsty Thursday.
You have your Thursday coming up, and what about your social media?
Social media, you can find Instagram, Facebook, just at Hey It's Mike Hudak.
Yeah, no more Thirsty Thursdays. Now we're doing Sodomy Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Terry likes it in the, All right, Terry. Are you ready for words for white people or what?
Are white people ready for words? I think, is that what you mean?
I said, fuck, man. You goddamn right.
We're going to talk about some wrestling. No,
let's talk about wrestling. Spell wrestling. Can't.
This week, we're going to be talking about allegiancy. That's the word of the week is allegiancy. Because I've seen it more and more this year. About
you mean the shitty airline?
No, it's more of a monologue, Mike.
Gotcha.
No, we're talking about allegiancy because more and more this year, I'm seeing more and more cases of people saying, well, I was led astray, therefore I'm not to blame. Whether that be the people that are in jail now for storming the Capitol, saying, well, I'm not to blame, I was just following my president. Or it's people trying to sue saying, well, I didn't lose my life savings. Matt Damon talked me into buying this cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? And it keeps going on and on and on about no personal responsibility whatsoever from anybody on any side of the political aisle. But not only that, but we are blaming specific people about the mistakes that we make. And I don't really feel like that's a cultural issue, more so as it is a generational one. Because when I was coming up, and I know I'm only 41 and that ain't the craziest age to be, but when I was coming up, we were taught that when you lie down with dogs, you might get fleas. Or, if you hang around the wrong people, you might go to jail even though you didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes who you pick to align yourself with is the only mistake you need to make, but it is your mistake to make. So now that when things go too far, as they always inevitably will, you don't get to just cut bait and walk away and say, well, I don't know, I'm just too dumb, I couldn't understand it, blah, 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 blah. No, it doesn't make it right. Just because you've been doing something a long time doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. And just because you're doing something that somebody you admire did or supported or told you to do doesn't mean that's the right thing to do either. You are a human person in this planet, and you are going to be responsible for your own choices, your own actions. End of story. So stop trying to cut bait at the last second when things don't go your way. And if you do something you're not supposed to do, you're going to have to accept the consequences of that, whether it means you went broke because you trusted Matt Damon, or whether it means you got a 20-year sentence because you trusted Donald Trump.
Well. Okay. Not a bad words for white people this week, huh?
Well, it's all personal responsibility. You can come back, Mike. You didn't have to leave.
There we go. No, I'm back. No, I
left.
Yeah.
But all right. Some words to think about for white people this week. Terry, you got shows coming up this week?
Careful who you align yourself with. Nope, nothing this week. Just working for a living.
Nice.
I got Saturday. I got 2 shows, but only one of them you can go to. One's a private party. I don't even know about the other show. It's at a country club. And just follow me. I'll post about it if it's a public show. I just thought
they're letting you in a country club?
Yeah, it's a women's show with Amber Joy Lane and
but you're black.
That they don't know that. My name's Giovanni, so they don't.
Oh, they think you're a white.
I didn't send them any.
I got it. Now I get it.
But anyway, all right, Mike. Thank you. You've been a great. Don't hop off just yet. You've been a great guest. And until next week, we'll see
Thanks
y'all
a lot,
next
you guys.